District 43 Congress. Come on up, brother. 2 to 5 minutes. We've been saying 2 to 5 minutes. You good there. 2 to 5 minutes. Tell the people what you're running for. Why should people vote for you right now?
Good evening, everybody. First, I want to say this is unexpected. I came here because this is not part of my district. The congressional district I represent is Compton, Watts, South LA, Inglewood, Hawthorne, Lawndale, Gardena, and part of North Torrance. But I came here because of the subject of reparations, and I came here to observe and to listen and learn and find out what the constituents really are demanding in their communities. And so it is something that is relevant in my community. And Dr. Yes, she recognized me from a different forum that I did over at Magic Johnson Park, and she said, "Hey, why don't you speak?" So this is completely unexpected. So just so you know, I don't represent this part of LA. However, being in Congress, all of America is your constituent, because you are voting on federal legislation that affects all Americans. So just to give you a quick background about myself, I was born in LA. First 2 years of my life, I was raised in Hawthorne. Next 16 years, I was raised in Harbor City. I went to Narbonne High School. After graduating Narbonne, I went to USC and majored in business. After that, I went to work in the internet business, and I dealt with a lot of startup companies that came to me as business plans. Realtor.com, Stamps.com, Yahoo was one of my clients. I got the chance to work with the entertainment companies, Walt Disney, Warner Brothers, Capitol Records, and whatnot. When that all imploded in 2002, I got into commercial real estate, and I've been doing that ever since. My father's black, born and raised in South Central. He was a gang member. My mother was Filipino, and Hispanic, Mexican, and she was in a gang as well, raised in Leimert Park. So I am a product of 2 gang members. I have 2 older brothers, and my parents were able to keep me and my brothers out of the gangs, and they stressed education. As you guys know, how a black man raises his sons, you need to be twice as good as a white man in order to get a fair shake. I made sure I was 10 times as good. So I was accepted to Berkeley. I turned that down. I was accepted to UCLA. I turned that down. My brother talked me into going to USC. And the reason that I chose that is because he asked me, what do you want to do? I said, I want to be a businessman. He said, where do you want to do business? I said, I want to do it in LA. He said, then why would you want to go to Berkeley? I said, well, it's the 5th ranked public school in the nation at the time, and I want to go away to school. I want to experience that. He goes, yeah, do me a favor. Drive downtown LA during rush hour one morning during the week and tell me what you see on all the license plates. What I saw was USC alumni, and I realized that the USC alumni really didn't understand. And so what he was trying to teach me is it's all about relationships. Life is about relationships. So that's why, again, I came here tonight, was to make relationships, learn about more what the people are actually asking for, what they want. As a subject of reparations, as I've told people in the past, being raised with that whole idea of you gotta be twice as good, and I made sure I was 10 times better. At first, I was against reparations because I felt, no, I don't need labor. I'm still better than them. I can still do it. I can still get ahead. But as I went on and got married, since divorced, raised my daughters on my own, I realized that when it comes to generational wealth, when it comes to the future, when it comes to your lineage, they have a head start, right? And I started to realize what reparations really meant for me was, okay, we fought for all this equality. We have laws that's supposed to protect us. We have activists that make sure to get on and hold people accountable when those laws are broken and the equality is not there. However, so much for being equal if they're starting all the way up there and me and my family are still here. So I started thinking something's got to be done to make it right. And so I'm in favor of cash payment, but more importantly, I'm more in favor of things like low or no interest loans to start businesses. No taxes for 5 to 7 years on those businesses. Things like that will help us, our community, catch up. Because that's what we need. We need to catch up. And so, again, that's why I came here that night on August 31st to read the sheet, ended up doing a Twitter space. I jumped on that, had the opportunity to really listen and understand with over 2,000 people what it was that they really wanted, what it was that they're arguing. And there was differences of opinion, right? You have the FBA, you have the ADOS, you have other organizations, different factions, but we're all fighting for the same thing. So what I can say is that I don't profess to know any of the answers, that's why I'm here, to learn. And we need to collaborate. And the reason why I feel that for the 43rd District, the current Congresswoman, I have nothing bad to say about her. She has a mural down the street, okay? But she's been there for 33 years, and it's time, as Joe Biden said when he handed out the baton to Kamala, right? What did he say? It's time for a new, younger, fresher voice. So that's what I feel that I am, is that new, younger, fresher voice. I'm here to try to come up with innovative solutions, like we need to get together and collaborate and figure out. And my biggest priority outside of the reparations for my district, because of what I've heard, is to help on the local issues. It's crime. We have the largest RV encampments in my district. Over 550 RVs. They're dumping 9,000 gallons of human waste into the sewer system that goes into the ocean. We have child trafficking, sex trafficking, drug trafficking. But there's no federal support. There's no DEA there. There's no Homeland Security there. There's no EPA to stop the human waste from going to the ocean. You keep hearing on the news, oh, can't go in the water, can't go in the water. It's not because of the sewage spill. It's because of 9,000 gallons of human waste going into the sewer system out to the ocean every month. So I feel that we need a federal representative that will be here in meetings like this on the regular, not back in DC catering to lobbyists. People have asked me, have you talked to the lobbyists? No, because I'm anti-lobbyist. They've asked me, what committees do you want to be on? I can tell you, I want to be on education, I want to be on workforce, I want to be on small business, but they're not going to let me, because the only way you can get on a committee, and anybody that knows about how Congress works, you have to raise money for a lobbyist in that sector of the committee you want to be on. So why would I do that? Okay? I'm going to take that budget that I would have for being in DC. Your average congressperson is $1.9 million a year for staff in office. Most congressional people in California have one district office. I'm going to open up 5. That way it's scattered through the community. Someone asked, are you going to hire people from the community? Well, yeah. My Gardena office will have people from Gardena. My Compton office will have people from Compton. Inglewood will have people from Inglewood. Because that's the way you're able to know what's going on in the street. Because let's face it, it's what happens in the street is what really matters. It's not what happens in DC or Sacramento. It's what happens here on the daily. And if you're not in tune with what's happening here on the daily because you're busy wearing nice things to galas, being on TV specials, how could you possibly know what these guys do? With that, I'll take questions.
All right. Got a question back there. Here. 1, 2, and then I'll come back to you, sister. You're supposed to be staff. You're supposed to ask the questions.
Thank you for being here. I want to know, are you part of the local or state central committee? And if you are, will you share with us how we can become a part of that committee? Because a lot of us don't engage ourselves that closely. And number 2, if you are elected, will you form a relationship with us and author a reparations bill with us in mind?
So, first question, I am currently not part of the Central Committee. And so that we can have full disclosure, I am a Republican. I consider myself a radical black Republican, okay? To answer any questions about Donald Trump, I didn't vote for him in 2016. I didn't vote for him in 2020. I'm not voting for him in 2024. So we can get that out. In terms of, like you said, Central Committee, people can get involved with the Central Committees. Since even if I'm not elected, finishing as the top Republican, I will be on a Central Committee as what's known as ex officio. guys know what that means. It means I'll be basically like an ad hoc member of that committee, and I will open the doors to any opportunities, because here's what I'm talking about. This is what needs to happen. We have enough black people on the Democratic side to get things done. I didn't make the system up. I hate political parties. I ran in 2022 as an independent. I got 1,200 votes. 4 people who didn't campaign, 2 Democrats, 2 Republicans, got thousands of votes. And they didn't even campaign. I campaigned. What does that tell you? In America, we're tribal. You're an R or D. So, because I never was part of a political party, and in Los Angeles, as Mr. Cascio rightfully explained, this is a political machine dominated by the Democratic Party. So I can't go to the Democratic Party and say, hey, I want to run for Congress because I've had cousins killed in the district. I've had homies smoked in the district. I played ball in and out of the district my whole life. Once upon a time, Harbor City was part of the district. That's where my tie is. That's where I want to help on the congressional level, because that's what's needed, especially when we've had career politicians there for decades that haven't delivered on the promises that they've been saying that they're going to keep. Okay? So I said, okay, I'll join this party. And everyone says, well, it's all effed up. Well, then maybe, because I don't back down from the challenge, maybe I can be the first domino to fall that's going to help switch this party to the party of the people. You can't say that this party or that party can't represent this race or this community or that. That's BS. Okay? That's BS. And I'm going to tell you right now, these guys in the LA GOP and the LA County Republican Party, this man can attest to it, they don't know what to think. They don't know what to think, because they've never had someone like this step up. They have a multicultural conservative, and when I say conservative, I'm not saying, oh, lock them up, throw away the key, do this, do that. And I said, no, just my basic fundamental values are conservative. So we're going to agree on probably 75, 80%, okay? And 20% of the things we're going to probably disagree, but that doesn't mean we can't collaborate and come to a happy medium to make this work. Because that's what it's going to take. Enough of this fighting, this red and blue, this, that, the other. We need to take care of business, because the time is coming. I'm tired of seeing my young brothers growing up in the same vicious cycle that my dad was able to break and keep me out of, and keep watching what's going down, especially in the district that I want to represent.
First, I want to thank you guys all for coming out. Everything that you guys are saying sounds nice, but we all know that talk is cheap. A lot of people tell us what we want to hear, and not what we need to know. And one of the things that I've noticed is that August 31st was a very special day for me, because not only was I on the same Capitol as the Black Panthers, but I really got to see the belly of the beast on Sacramento politics and who politicians worship. And it wasn't the people that they were elected to serve. It was the lobbyists that flooded the whole building. So my question to you and all of you is, first of all, I think it's these things sound great, but I'm tired of broken promises. You're asking us to support you on the ballot, but we all know that voting doesn't just end at the ballot. We vote every day with our dollar. So my question to y'all is, would you be willing to forfeit your personal assets if you do a disservice to the Black community like they did? And would you be willing to commit your own financial personal assets? Because I think it's a disgusting thing when the net worths of politicians increase while they do a disservice and forget the people that elected them and put them there in the first place. You look at how these Black faces in high places and people just like them, their net worths increase while we're continuously going to zero. If nothing changes, if we're on the current trajectory that we are on right now, by 2050, we'll be a permanent underclass. And the very same people that are contributing, to that underclass, their net worth tends to increase. So would you, all of you, Would you all be willing to forfeit your personal assets if you do a disservice and to an organization of the community's choosing? How do y'all feel about that?
Can I shake your hand? Thank you for asking. This is a youngster right here that gets it. Because my net worth is negative. Okay? My net worth is negative. I ain't rich. In fact, running for Congress has hurt me. I'm a commercial real estate broker. I don't get paid unless I close a deal. That's how I get paid. When I close the deal, when escrow closes, when someone signs a lease. So guess what? If I'm out here campaigning, can I close deals? Yeah. So talk to my landlord. He ain't happy. All right? So I can relate. And he's right. How do you go into Congress on a $174,000 a year salary and have a house in Hancock Park? All I'm saying is, I'm not going in this for money. That's why I just said, I don't care I want to be on a committee, but I know I won't be because I ain't taking no lobbyist money. I ain't taking, look at what when you see when the next financials come out and see what I've raised. I've raised $17,000 in a race that a black man who ran as a Republican in 2020 raised $10 million. Okay? This is all grassroots. This is all from the heart. This is because, like I said, having family members and friends killed in the district, watching the schools not do well and perform. Although Compton, we're like districts, that's one thing we can say. Compton School District has scored #1 for those types of districts, so we can give it up that they are turning things around there. But then you look at Inglewood, who's got to close 5 schools, right? And they're going to sell them off to developers, right? So, like you said, the belly of the beast is the developers.
Let me go ahead. Great question.
One area that I haven't heard anyone talk about, I know African American community is small, but Black veterans. It's a very big concern for African American veterans. I know you were talking about what committees, we would definitely like to see a bigger representation on the House Committee for Veteran Affairs. And in this community you walk through, you see a lot of homeless vets. I mean, we serve our country. I'm a veteran also, so I serve my country faithfully, and it's hard to get benefits, it's hard to get, medical care, it's hard to get things that have been promised to us, not only on a national level, but on a, state level, and then it's even worse for the city. I know one candidate mentioned that they were at the Bob Hall Patriot. Okay, which is mostly the county, but it's very hard for Black veterans out here as far as loans, business loans, and just making that transition. What are your plans, or where do you see that going?
So, my grandfather on my dad's side was a World War II veteran. He was part of the Black Infantry. My dad is a veteran of the Vietnam War. My father used the VA loan in 1973 to buy a triplex in Hawthorne. Okay, so I have a little bit of experience with veterans. My father currently uses the VA. He goes to Long Beach instead of Westwood. And we do need to do more for veterans. I've always felt, especially when we had invaded Iraq, and they had talked about when they found that $650 million cash in that warehouse, I said they should give every soldier the opportunity to grab as much of that loot as they could and put it in what they could, in whatever they could walk out with. Because these are people that are putting their lives on the line, fighting not a real war, fighting under ulterior motives for multinational corporations, right? And we're not going to take care of them. And then we're going to deny them benefits and say, oh, you won't have what you didn't get this because when they have those oil fields on fire, right? Or whatever gas they released. So I believe that's the first people you should be taking care of. Because they didn't ask to go to war, they were sent by their government. So whether the war was just or not, it's like blaming the waitress because the cook messed up on the work, right? So I believe we need to take care of veterans first and foremost before we start sending money to foreign countries, before we start spending money on other things that aren't as high a priority as our veterans and people who are sleeping on the street.
Thank you, brother. Thank you. And we got one more question. Somebody please give me a fresh pledge, fresh reparations pledge, please. Thank you. The final question is, will you sign a reparations pledge today?
Absolutely.
All right. Please, do a ceremony and kind of like this, brother. Thank you, Bridget. Right there. Thank you very much. That will be shared online. Thank you very much. And family, so first thing I want to say is, as the brother signs, thank you, okay? We almost done. We almost